I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Welcome to Reel In Films. I'm super excited to speak to you and talk about Bury the Bride. My initial startup question would be, what caught your attention to be part of the film?
So it kind of happened the opposite way. I had been Chrissy Fox and I have the same manager, and he had been telling us, I gotta get you guys to meet. You're gonna love each other, and you have like such similar taste in movies and everything. And he was right. We met, we hit it off. I did a couple small things with her, and then I'd kind of talked to her about the fact that I was looking to start producing stuff. And when Barry the Bride came along, I read the script. I really loved it. I saw Allegoria, Spider's first film, which I also really liked, and um, then kind of came, okay, great, we're going to do this. Who am I going to play? And when I first found out I was playing the character that I played, Puppy, he doesn't speak much in the film, and that was really different. I can remember, like, saying to Chrissy, like, the guy doesn't, I have no lines. You want to play this part? And she was like, look, this is gonna work. This is gonna be incredibly impactful in the film, and as this a storytelling device, and just trust me, it's gonna be great. And so I did. And yeah, I'm just really happy with how how that turned out. And so yeah, that was kind of the order that it went in. I've kind of found out last which character I was playing.
Okay. That usually don't it usually is intentional that you as the actor know what character you're going to be playing beforehand?
I mean, I knew before we started, of course. It's just
Okay.
I had decided to, it all kind of happened at the same time about, the producing and getting involved in that level, and then who was I going to play, and she had just been saying, I've got this character in mind for you. And so yeah, when I finally read the script, I got to see who I was playing.
Okay, that's great. So, Chas, I wanted to know because the film is basically filmed fully like in a desert. Were there any um issues while filming the scenes? Because I do see and notice that there's a lot of like windy scenes. Was that like intentional to be part of the film, or was it very difficult to do the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had to fight wind, um, but it didn't ever become like a debilitating factor. And honestly, we didn't have to, redo that much dialogue. So we got through the wind, pretty good. But that was kind of the element. I mean, we were up in the high desert, and we were dealing with that.
Okay. So I did see your credits and I do remember you from uh AHS. I
Mhm.
completely remember you from that series. So wanted to ask you, is it being with all the credits that you have, is horror your favorite genre to be part of?
Think so. Yeah. I mean, I love horror, and I love the different types of characters that one can play working in horror. And I also love, the storytelling opportunities that you have with horror. That's, kind of different than other genres. It's very direct. It's very impactful. I like that about it as well. So
Were there any moments while filming Bury the Bride that you take to heart, that it was something that it happened and it was funny and you just enjoyed it?
Oh, I mean, I try to take everything to heart when I'm making a film. I mean, my happy place is on a set. So it was a really fun movie to make when we had this great ensemble cast, and everybody, you know, got along, and a lot of us knew each other. I mean, really everybody on the film in the film except for one actor, either Chrissy and Spider had worked with or I had worked with before. So that was nice. It just we all knew what to expect from each other, and we had really phenomenal actors, as a part.
That's amazing. So wanted to ask you one particular question because it's something that doing a little research on you, it came up, and I'm really intrigued about the topic. So can you tell us a little bit about being a fellow activist for the LGBTQ plus community?
Well, I mean, for many years that was pretty much my career. I worked in LGBT politics. I worked for two different, big organizations, and and did a lot of work around that, and wrote two books, and so it's actually, at this point, it's not as large a part of my life. I do some things privately and everything, but at this point, my whole focus is on my career as an actor.
Okay, great, great. So what can the audience expect when they sit down and watch Bury the Bride?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to just have a great time. I think it's a super fun film. I kind of liken it to like a roller coaster, in that the film starts out and you meet these women, and they're off together on a bachelor at weekend, and you get this feeling pretty quickly that something is amiss and bad things are probably going to happen, and then the time that the men kind of join the party, from that point on, it just to me, it just like goes like a bat out of hell, and it's super action packed, super suspenseful, a lot of fun, and I think with an ending that is probably not what most people will expect, going into this. So I think that I really think that horror fans are just going to love this one.
Okay. For myself, the film was very interesting. It's very intriguing. I uh halfway through it, I was like, what's going on halfway through it? And then with that ending, I hope that people just blows their mind what happens in the ending. And
Yeah,
I gotta say, your character was very intriguing due to the fact that, like you mentioned, no lines at all. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
I was like all the time, but why can't he speak? I have to know the reasons why. It's very, very great. So, Chaz, I'm gonna give you a very interesting question. So, due to the fact that you love horror, what are your top three horror films?
Okay, definitely The Exorcist. Probably Silence of the Lambs, and what would my third one be? I mean, there's so many. It's really hard to choose another one for me. I mean, I like all types of horror. Like in my house, we do horror all the whole month of October.
Okay.
We watch nothing but horror. So my girlfriend has begrudgingly gone along with this with me now for a few years, and I think it's really fun, and I love the opportunity to check out new independent horror films too during that time. So, but yeah, I mean, I love everything from like the old school stuff that I grew up with, the uh, Halloweens and Freddy Krueger's and that stuff, to probably smaller films that a lot of people haven't seen, but I've really enjoyed.
Okay, because I gotta say, I love horror myself. Every every October, I give my mission to choose uh one of the franchises that has like more than five films, and just like every time just finish their whole franchise, and then be like a whole week just saying like, I just had a bad dream once again because taking so much horror on in a
Yeah.
very small time frame.
So yeah, this year we did in October, we did, which I'd never really seen most of them. We did like all the classic horror
Oh
films.
wow.
So that was, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolf Man, all of those. And that was really interesting because most of those films I had never seen before.
I haven't. I think the most recent one that I did see, but that was like I would say 4 months ago, was Dracula. I just like
Mhm.
to go back with these old films and make like not make a comparison, but just to see how cinema was in a time and then how
But
cinema is now. So
yes,
wanted to see your outtake. Do you like the fact that still now in horror films there are using practical effects? Without a practical effect, it's not a horror
yeah,
film, I would say.
right, totally. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I mean, I think there's just a realness and authenticity when you're using, real, effects, great effect makeup and great, practical effects. And so yeah, I love that. I've never been like a huge fan of digital effects. And yeah, I mean in horror it's about the blood. You need to see that. You can't fake that kind of stuff.
I completely agree. So, Chas, wanted to know, is there like any like project that you would like to work on or that you would like to be on in the future?
Well, so we are Chrissy and Spider, who directed the film, Spider One, just wrote a new script, and we're in pre-production on that. So that'll probably be, at least in the immediate future, what I'll be working on. Um, Yeah, I'm obsessed with serial killers, and so that's something I'd really like to do at some point is play that type of role. Um, I'm also I've always been a big fan of horror comedy. I would love to have the opportunity to work on something like that. I have a film coming out later this year that I shot last year called The Bellkeeper, and it was a lot of fun to make, and my character is a little bit the comic relief in it. Not overboard, but definitely has elements of that, and that was really fun to do. So yeah, I'd love to do a horror comedy someday. I love the meeting of those two genres,
So,
and the serial killer. That's on my bucket list.
okay. So, do you have this being my final initial question? So,
Mhm.
you mentioned this being a serial killer in a future film or series, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a serial killer that it's created by the writer that does not have like a background that you don't have to google it and you'll find like all the information there, or would you like to portray a serial killer that was already that's a docu series or a docu film?
Yeah, no, probably. I mean, probably something new. We've had a couple ideas bouncing around, and so yeah, I did before I started like getting work in TV and film. I produced a play. It's a play called Down the Road by a playwright named Lee Blessing, and it's very much an old school kind of look at serial killers in that height of time in the like late 80s, and it's more of a psychological thriller than actual horror, but it's about this couple that are come out to write a book about the serial killer, and through just telling his stories and everything, he kind of takes them over. He just blows up their life, and honestly, it's probably the most fun I've ever had acting ever. So, I would skip off stage every night. It was such a release and so much fun. And so kind of since then just obsessed with, doing something, and playing a serial killer.
That's amazing. So Chaz, really, thank you very much to give us the time to talk about Bury the Bride. For all of our viewers, Bury the Bride hits Tubi in North America on April 22nd as a Tubi original, and it screens at the Panic Fest in Kansas City um, on April 15th, and as well, it will be screening at the Salem Horror Film Fest on April 22nd as well. So don't miss Bury the Bride. Once again, Chaz, thank you very much for giving us your time to talk about Bury the Bride and among other things.
Thank you so much for having me.